Is there some back there? Okay. All right. Very pleased with what happened today. Proud of our players. I thought they did a really great job of starting the game. Thank you. A lot of energy. Obviously, going up 21-0 was big. Thought our defense made a great stop after we had that gaff on the kickoff return fumble and forced a field goal instead of a touchdown. I think that was a big play, big drive for our defense in the first half. Obviously, to start the game with the kickoff return was huge. Isaiah did a good job of finding it, and we played about as good as we practiced on that team. It was a great week of practice on the kickoff return team. I remember watching the film one evening. I forgot what evening it was we did it. But scout teamers flew down the field, and everybody got their man, and it just opened up big. And I'm thinking if we could just do that in the ball game, we're going to be all right. And they did a good job there. We talked a lot about starting the second half better for the season. We scored over 90 points in the first quarter, 90 points in the second quarter, over 100 points in the fourth quarter, but I think like 31 points in the third quarter. We just, for whatever reason, offense, defense, special teams haven't started fast in the second half, and so we really made a big point of that, and actually changed a little bit of our routine to get everybody out there, run some sprints, have them gather up, and try to get the blood flowing a little bit before the second half started. And the way we came out the second half was maybe more impressive than how we came out the first. So just real proud of the team and what they did today, and the coaches, everybody involved. It was a good day.
Coach, all the challenges and travails and everything you have to this point, now it comes down to one home SEC football game. Do you feel like that it's coming together, though, with Todd coming back, Sony coming back today, and kind of everything leading into that game?
Well, it's going to be nice to be home, period. I think it'll end up being about a 42-day span from the last time we played at Sanford Stadium, and just playing there in front of our fans is so meaningful to everybody. And I'm sure our fans' blood will be pumping, our players' blood will be pumping, coaches. I mean, it's going to be an exciting day next week for sure. But, it was a good, we had that stretch, 4 games away from home and open date in there, and a lot of travel. I'm glad we had an early game today and got the victory. We'll get home with a little bit of time to kind of regroup and rest before we start getting cranked up on that plan for Auburn. But looking forward to being home for sure.
Mark, a couple of times Kentucky got within 10 points. So
oh, yeah.
What were your thoughts as they closed the gap?
Well, we just got to keep banging away. We talked about, I think some of the things that we were doing well when we were winning was understanding that it takes time to get in position to win a game, so to speak. What I mean by that is you can't just have this mighty blow in the first drive of the game, or even a kickoff return for a touchdown. I mean, hey, that was a great play, and that was if you're talking about a boxing match or knocking a building down or cutting a tree down. I mean, you're just not going to swing the axe one time and knock the tree down. You got to keep chopping. You got to keep banging away, and as we kept saying, it's going to take time. You got to be patient. You got to be strategic. You got to be physical, and I think everybody bought into that. But when they kept narrowing the gap, we tried to prepare everybody that this team's very capable of that. I think they're one of the best offensive teams in the league. I mean, when you watch their film, they're outstanding in my opinion. What they do scheme-wise, I think their quarterback is really good. I really believe that guy's going to play in the NFL. He's 6'4", 6'5", 230, can run like he can. He's physical. He throws the ball extremely well. He's got a lot of poise and confidence. I mean, he's a really good player, and they're doing a lot of good things around him as well. So, and really year in and year out, their special teams have been some of the best in the league year in and year out. So we knew we had a challenge there, but we rose to it, and for the most part had a really good day.
Mark, talk about Jonathan Rump and what he's been through the past 2 months.
So happy for Rump. I really am. And not only was I happy for him, but his his teammates were so happy for him just to see him get in there and play and play big. Made some big plays. That crossing route he caught kind of took the one-hand stab at, and the long ball where he made the play. And I mean, he really made his presence known, and even got on, became a starter on our punt return and block unit. He's finally healthy, playing ball, and it was just so nice to see him have a big day.
What's Leonard been dealing with this weekend? Did you know
Yeah.
that did they have to cut on the runs a lot?
Yeah, Leonard's shoulders just been sore. I mean, nothing he couldn't play. He played some, and we were hoping, like you said, we could play Carter a lot more if possible, and just it's kind of cumulative. You play game after game after game, you get sore. Sometimes to the point where it's better to get as much of a rest as possible, and we were able to do that.
How do you think Lorenzo?
Ladies first. We'll go ladies first.
Having to had to rely on Lorenzo as much as you did, were you pleased with what you saw from him during the break?
Well, just from the sideline, you saw him playing with energy. You saw him making some plays. A couple times he allowed the quarterback to break contain on his side when he was in charge of the contain. But energy level was good, and I guarantee you, playing as much as he did and having that much success will give him more confidence.
What was it you saw from Sony that allowed you to not just play him, but play him a lot?
Yeah, well, Sony, excuse me, it got to the point where the x-rays, the physicians and all decided that he was healed from that point of view, but it becomes kind of a pain tolerance issue. You still might get sore, and we didn't really test him much on Monday, Tuesday. He got thudded up a little bit on Wednesday, but when you watched him practice, you just saw him flying around, running hard. Chubb does a nice job too of setting the tone. Brennan Douglas. I mean, our backs have gotten in a really great habit with the leadership of Brian McClendon to every time they touch the ball, they're flying down the field at least 40 yards, if not more, to try to stay in condition as they go. But just watching him run, he looked confident. He looked like he was, ready to go. And he was excited about playing. And, a couple times during the week, I asked him how he was doing. I asked Coach McClendon how he thought he was doing. And he said, Coach, the kid wants to play. And, sometimes when you're coming off an injury, you're tentative. And sometimes you're ready to go. And his first run, he got some yards after, really good contact up the gut. I think he ran into a linebacker, and obviously that was a good physical shot, and he held up well, so I'd probably give him confidence to finish the game.
Mark, when you be in the job almost 14 years, ups and downs. I remember being in this little room
Oh, yeah.
in 2006.
I do
It
too.
wasn't a very good thing.
I do.
Um,
I hated this room.
Yeah. But the past week, was that one of the more difficult ones you've had, that your program has had?
It was a disappointing loss for sure. But I say it a lot, and it's true. You get up, you go to work. I mean, you go to the Butts Mirror and you start working, and every minute of the day is pretty much taken up by some type of task that has to get done. So you're just focusing on your job. You're focusing on getting ready for the next one. You first off focus on what went wrong and what you need to correct, whether it's scheme or effort or just the way you do things, But you kind of get back to work, and so I will say I got some interesting text messages from people that kind of like when you go to church and they tell you they're praying for you. It's kind of bad out there, I guess, but it's part of the job. It's part of the position, and Coach Bowden, when I was at Florida State, said it over 30 years ago. If you can't take criticism, then don't coach. Do something else for a living, and if you're in a leadership position, then you're going to get it from time to time. But now, how you're going to react to it is important, and I think everyone did a good job.
With all that said, you had to be pretty encouraged at the way this started.
Right. Yeah, I was. I mean, you just never know what's going to happen in a game. You don't know how it's going to go. You don't know how we'll play. And, of course, that opening kickoff was just awesome. and we kept stoking the fire, so to speak, with some more offensive and defensive plays, and I mean, you know, it was outstanding start, and then they hit a few counter punches, and like you mentioned, getting within 10 a couple times with a lot of clock, with an offense that you know can score fast, and you know, so it got our attention again, and I don't think we ever got in a position where we were sitting back saying, hey, we got them, you know, until probably late in the game, which was good.
I know you haven't wanted to focus on Todd not being
Yeah.
the last couple of weeks, but now that you are going to have him back,
Yeah.
I mean, you get the sense that things are coming together now a little more.
Well, it's like I told the team in the locker room, and I got asked the question coming off the field, and to me, you know, today's about Georgia. Today's about what we did as a team today. And like I said on the TV deal, you know, we love Todd. I love Todd. He's awesome. And I am thankful he's going to be back, you know. But I wanted to focus today mainly on what happened today. But when you do look down the road, I mean, obviously it's exciting to get him back and to get a guy like Sony feeling good. And you know, of course, Brennan Douglas showed what he could do again towards the end of the game. He's a very powerful back. So, you know, the more the merrier when one of the identities of your team is running the football in a physical manner. So it'll be nice to have, you know, more capable backs to play.
If on the night that Todd
I'm sorry?
If, say, on the night that Todd was suspended, October 9th, I think it was, you had known then that he was going to be out 4 games and all of them were going to be away from that. You would have known that you were going to win 3 of the 4. Would you have taken that?
No. No. You know, we had our chance to control our destiny in the East, and we lost the control during that time frame, and that was very disappointing. But you know, all we can do now is play this last SEC game and try to get a victory and put as much pressure on Missouri as we possibly can to keep it going. And you know, if they can do it, they deserve it. But if we don't take care of business next week, it makes it a whole lot easier for them, or even Florida to get in it maybe with 3 losses.
Well, speaking of next week, tell us what you know about Auburn at this point.
Auburn is a physical football team. They love to run the ball. They love to pound it, quite frankly. But they have some great skilled players at the receiver position. Obviously, Nick Marshall's a great athlete, great runner, but also a guy who can throw the ball extremely well, can throw it, you know, probably 80 yards. I mean, the guy is very, very strong. You know, defensively, they've been playing extremely well throughout the year, and they're getting better as they go. They got some. They're rolling those D linemen. They got a bunch of them. And then they got some great return men. I think Quan Bray has done some great things returning kicks, and just going to be an unbelievable challenge for us, but it's exciting to think that we're back at home and our fans are going to be at their best, and hopefully we'll be at our best as well.
What I was going to say, being at home kind of makes it more comfortable having to play them.
Well, I like being home. I mean, we did actually play them 2 years in a row at Auburn when we had this scheduling change in the league, and it just so happened we go play them twice there. And you know, last year was quite a battle. You know, we were in trouble. We were on the ropes. They were getting ready to kind of ice the game deep in our territory, and our guys found a way to get a stop and force a field goal and keep it to 20 instead of what it might have been 24 or whatever it was. And you still got hope, you know. You can score 3 times. You scored 3 times, and we did. And we did it without an onside kick. We scored, stopped them, scored, stopped them, scored. And then we needed one more stop, and you know, obviously couldn't get it. And then just about went down the field and scored again. But it was a great effort by our team. It was one of the greatest college football games, you know, anybody's seen in a while until the next one they played against Bama. You know, it was kind of trumped us. But that was one game I'm glad people started to forget fast.
Mark, 4 touchdowns today.
I'm sorry?
I said Hudson threw 4 touchdowns today, missed on 3 passes. How confident have you seen him? And you know, how do you think he's going to carry this game the next weekend?
Well, you know what? Great job by Hudson. My hat's off to the guy. great week of practice. You know, he catches heat every once in a while. You know, playing quarterback, you're going to catch heat too. And we challenged him this week, and he rose to the challenge. And he played great. Coach Bobo, obviously, and the rest of the offensive staff put together a great plan, executed it beautifully. I mean, it's going to be fun to watch the film because, I mean, like I said, I mean, we scored every single drive. We scored every drive except for the last one when the clock ran out, and we didn't punt. We did not turn the ball over on offense, I don't think. I think the only turnover we had was on the kick. You know, so just an awesome day by that group of people.
When you say you challenged him, was there a tentative plan to maybe give Bryce another series, but the way Mason was performing?
Well, just challenge him and you know, wanting him to be continue to take charge of what's going on, but just let the ball rip. You know, just cut it loose, son. And, you know, don't feel like, you know, the thing that Hudson has been, the thing that we see in Hudson is his great sense of anticipation, throwing the ball sooner than most guys throw it, not holding the ball too long, not hitching up in the pocket too much. And I think there's been times he's done that. He's held the ball too long. He's hitched up in the pocket so far that he feels pressure and can't see what's going on downfield. And he dropped back in the pocket. He hit his point. He stepped up and he let the ball rip and was right on the money.